Merry Christmas, everyone. It's the end of our 12 episodes of Christmas, and I don't know why you're watching this today. You should be opening presents and spending time with your family. Maybe you're sitting around watching this on the TV.
Our presence is their presence, Darcy.
Yes, exactly. So today we have Andre Pettipas back again here in the apartment, and we're in front of the Christmas tree to keep it on theme. So, what did Santa bring you this year, Andre?
Santa brought me a clean bill of health in 2023.
And I just got my new car, so I'm back.
And you got a new car. Like we've been cruising around lately. You know, the Civic has put on many miles this year. Yeah. My van has put on many miles, and I'm planning for more of that in 2024. In 2023, had 139 shows, so I'm gonna push for 150 this year. And then with the possibility, maybe 200, aiming in between that kind of...
Something like every other day.
Yeah.
For the calendar year.
See how that goes.
Where I have been palling around the last little bit since my car's been defunct, I did notice that it is pretty much...
Every other day.
Like every other day 1 week, and then maybe 2 the next week, and then another week you're back to every other day.
Yeah.
So these holiday weeks, I know there's a lot of shows that people have either already seen or they missed out on.
Mm-hmm.
But for anyone that is watching this here on Christmas Day, you're right back at it after this one holiday.
One holiday. We got Boxing Day show at Glasgow Square, The Rewind. So this is a bit of a Giantstock rewind, basically. So a Giantstock and Labor Day weekend, we did a 90s show on the Sunday night. So we're going to relive that with a couple new songs added in, a couple of collaborations, and it's been a while since we played Glasgow Square, so it's going to be a friggin' blast.
And now, I didn't prepare any of these questions with you ahead of time, all right. If I got to cut anything, I'll cut it, but Giantstock, the first, the OG Giantstock.
OG, yes.
In Labor Day. You have a lot of content from there that hasn't seen the light of day
right
yet. So is that something that's going to be publicly available?
Yeah.
In the next few months?
So like over winter, we're going to be slowly letting out video performances from the festival, and we're also going to be doing a short film about it. Kind of the whole thing with Giantstock is it's a communal event. It's not like your typical festival where you just get hammered and, just wander around and all you're worried about is that. It's more of getting to know the festival goers, making a community, and enjoying passion with like-minded musicians, like-minded festival goers. So we're going to be showing a lot more of that in early 2024. So stay tuned. Probably mid-January for the first video.
Anybody that missed out on it, now's your chance because there's early bird tickets available at a discounted price.
Yeah, so early bird $90, and if you want to save the taxes, save the fees, save all that stuff, you can e-transfer us, which is $90 straight, and we'll worry about shipping costs and all that fun stuff.
And there is, I don't think last year you had print copies, but I know you had.
We did have print copies, but we got them earlier this year. Okay. In time for Christmas. Last year, I think we announced on April Fool's Day.
Yeah.
And then the big push was out to get tickets out online, so the physical copies were for sale, but most people bought online.
Maybe I thought it was a joke because of the time.
That's honestly, a lot of people inbox me is like, okay, this is a joke. What are you doing?
So, a little too early to announce any of the lineups.
Right.
We'll definitely have to have you back in some format in the next few months when you're ready to
a little launch party. Yeah, 100%.
Now, in 2024, do Andre Pettipas and the Giants have some tour dates lined up that you can announce yet?
Well, we can definitely announce Giantstock.
Yeah.
We've got some summer dates that were already confirmed, but we can't really say much yet as... Most of these places they announce later on in the year, but we're building another cross Canada tour, which is always a fun time. Mm-hmm. Last year we did 2. We did June, and then we did in September right after Giantstock, and we garnered a bunch of new fans and a bunch of new spots to play. And it's something about being thrown on the road that just makes you work a little harder, and it's like appreciates the work you put in because you can go into a new town, put on your show, and it'd be the same thing as if you play at home. People are like, they're cool about it, and they're like, man, this is awesome. So it's cool just finding those new listeners. And
I like to see the new bands that
Right.
you tour with.
Yes,
Because
exactly.
I like to hear about new up-and-coming bands, but where I'm so East Coast focused the last couple of years, when you leave our region,
Yeah.
I always look to see
Who you
you're
playing
touring
with. Yeah.
I'm like, oh, well, that's probably a band that's comparable, so I'm going to check them out.
No, exactly.
And then on top of that, specifically with your band, you guys always have tour stories when you come back.
Yeah, we tend to have some fun on the road, and that's the joy of it all. It's just making memories and the journey. I know there's got to be an end goal somewhere, but when you're focusing on the end goal, you just forget about what's in front of you right there. And people would tell me it's like the journey is the best part of it all. Making those memories, the tour stories. There's just something funny is bound to happen on every city you're in or every tour you play.
I know I have a history, like outside of the podcast staff, friends will say that I have a history of just weird, bad luck things happening when I go on road trips. So I find it funny to hear yours, and now that I've had the chance to be with you a couple times, it is funny that it's a good marriage of bad luck because it's always a good story at the end. We ended up traveling around during the Nova Scotia floods that we had a few months ago there, and now who would have thought that particular night would be the worst night to be ripping around? And we went right through the worst part of the province to be going through too. Like
Insane. We what did it take us to get home from Bridgewater?
I don't even know.
An extra 2 hours, I think. Yeah, like we played at the Carlton the night before, which was the big storm, and then we went to Bridgewater, which was still the big storm, but the roads were washed out. And Devin Fraser at Frickenstein, Beauty, good friend, he's like, man, we'll still have a show if you guys want to get there. And I'm like, yeah, boys, we're getting there. We're already in Halifax. So we drove up there, and it took us like an extra 2 hours to get home because the roads were washed out. So we were taking all these dirt roads. And I think that might be part of the reason why the van's a little bit beat up.
Yeah, the van might need some. I know you've been doing some work on it lately. Getting ready to get back out there, but
yeah, I got a couple adjustments made, so it's ready for 2024.
And now, outside of those endeavors, yourself, where you've been full-time musician for, is it just
year and a half now? Yeah.
A little over. So you had a podcast of your own this past year.
Yeah.
That was originally, I believe, kind of a promo for Giantstock.
Yeah.
It evolved into its own thing, as most of these podcasts do. But is that coming back? Is there a plan for it?
So, with my podcast is called What's Going On, Dre.
It took me way too long to know because I was reading it.
What's going on, Dre? Yeah. So basically, for that, it's kind of when something sparks. Like I want to chat to someone. At the first, I had it every week, and then I realized my schedule is like I don't want to cram something in when it's unnecessary, or I don't want to put that extra stress load. So now I'm going to be doing the Giantstock lineup again because I want to get the connect the listeners with the performers, and that's the basic idea for that. So I'll be having the Giantstock artists again, and we've got a couple lined up with some other musical buds that'll be on.
And one thing, I know you don't have a lot to talk about yet, but you probably have a few things that you can put out there for some of your fans. One of the episodes that we had you on previously was about your solo single that you had at the time.
Yeah.
And now you and Travis both did solo singles, so Travis has to be on some point.
And talk about that.
There's a little bit of time has passed, so he has to do another one.
Yeah.
And then we can talk about his solo history.
But
now for yourself, since I have been around you for some of your solo shows, I know that there's some new material and some stuff being dusted off.
Yeah.
So, is there anything that you can share with people for plans for next year? I know the direction you're heading, but I don't know of anything official.
So basically, the music industry is super stressful, and with the band over the last 8 years, we've had so many opportunities, and we had a lot of growing. We've done a lot. We've been through a lot, and for this solo project, I'm basically just recording all the stuff myself, mixing it all myself, not putting any restrictions on it, and I'm just releasing it out there with not a full marketing plan. I'm just going to be putting these songs out so that people that come to my shows will have them readily available, and just something different than what I do with the Giants. It's I guess a little bit more poppy production, a little bit of electronic feel to it, but still having that same kind of rock vibe. But I got about 5 to 8 songs I'm working on currently. I'm gonna do an EP out of it, maybe 5 songs, and I'm hoping to put the first one out probably like February.
Wow, I didn't expect it that quick.
Yeah, like I've been literally like holding on to these songs, some of them for 7 or 8 years. And I was on Threads the other day, and I seen this guy that said, he's like, this is literally the night I was working on this latest song. He's like, just put out your music. You have all these terabytes of music at your home. It's a lot better being heard towards ears. And I'm like, true. It's got to be some kind of feel like, okay, nobody needs to hear these songs. I'm like, I just write them for myself. But what's the sense of writing them for nobody to hear them? You know, it's kind of like I'm just working on these extra hours, putting on all this time and doing my own, feel on songs for people not to hear. It's a little bit of a fool's errand.
Yeah, I mean, those solo performances when they come out, they always seem to be well received.
Yeah.
By the people that are sitting there, so it would be interesting to see what kind of audience it would get on its own online.
Yeah, for sure, man. It's like, with me, I'm very eclectic in what I do. Like, I like a rap kind of feel to some of my tunes. I like the full rock. I like a slower song. I like the little bit of country element. So I'm trying to sprinkle all of that into one.
A little bit of Limp Bizkit.
A little bit of Limp Bizkit. A ton of Limp Bizkit. Yeah. So that show on Boxing Day, you'll see some Limp Bizkit.
Oh, and I had referenced you without your name back when I was in Moncton with Max Bougeot.
Yeah.
I had mentioned somebody that was not a rapper but doing some rapping.
Yeah.
And he's been experimenting a little bit with some hip hop stuff.
I love that.
Songs as well. So we'll have to look for an opportunity for you guys to meet up sometime in the spring.
Do a rap off.
I think maybe Max, if you're here and it's a
challenge to a rap battle,
basement of the pint on open mic, you guys are gonna have a whole rap duel.
Let's do it.
Battle night.
I pretty well have Forgot About Dre down.
Yeah.
So I've been working on that for a bit, and I whipped it at a private party the other night, and it went over well.
Awesome.
So that took a little bit. It's tough to learn all those lyrics. You listening to rap songs, like, man, they have way more lyrics than what I put in my songs.
I can't sing, but I can remember rap lyrics for some reason. Like,
yeah, it's the melodic.
We have the opposite skill sets.
Yeah, see, I hate lyrics. Well, I love lyrics, but I just hate trying to remember them.
Yeah.
Because at any given time, I have about 200 songs just memorized in my head. So I can play probably like 6 to 7 hours with no sheets. And it's hard to just stuff new stuff in.
Yeah.
That's why I guess writing songs is easier. But I think people that just write put themselves in a little bit of a box as well. They're not dipping from other influences. I always found that strange how like some people are just snobs about cover music. For me, it's like, man, don't pigeonhole yourself for anything.
I believe even the people that don't like to perform covers,
yeah,
because they only want to put their original material out when they're performing live.
Yeah.
When they're at home, they have to be doing covers. So,
well,
like when you start off, you might know some notes and figure out some melodies.
Yeah. Learn from
point,
something.
You have to play something that you know.
Yeah.
Make sure you're even doing it right.
You're doing it right, or just like, honestly, just borrowing from the artists that inspire you. It's like, man, a lot of my favorite songs are songs I've listened to when I was a kid that I'm still like, okay, I'm borrowing from. I was like, I like what he did in that part. I want to have a song that has something similar, like fall down from a major to a minor, like Radiohead's Creep.
Yeah.
Or lots of Marvelous 3 tunes do that, and I use that in one of my new songs. I'm like, very Beatlesque as well. It's just little things like that. It's like, I wouldn't have thought of that myself if I wasn't listening to these songs so much.
And you finally get to see your hero live there too, because you just
Marvelous 3 was insane. Like, me and my wife went to Atlanta on our anniversary on Halloween, seen 2 out of 3 Marvelous 3 shows. For anybody who's not familiar with Marvelous 3, check them out. They were a band in the 90s that disbanded because they signed a crappy record deal. And basically after their album, the record label wasn't going to promote them anymore. They were going to keep their music, but not promote them. So they just disbanded. And 25 years later, they reunited, and the bass player's son, he played guitar for them in the reunion shows. He was 2 when the band broke up. And to see them out there was like, Butch Walker's one of my favorites, and he's probably like my biggest musical inspiration as far as songwriting, because he dives into a lot of different things. And he's a producer first, so he's worked with Pink, he's worked with Avril Lavigne, Green Day, Weezer, Seven Dust. There's a nice reference. Yeah. But he's from Atlanta. That's where I got to see him. And seeing them as a band, I've seen Butch twice solo, but it's solo with his solo band. But seeing Marvelous 3 as a band, I was like, man, this is a band playing. Yeah. And I think there's something about that. There's something about not having your hired guns. It's like these guys wrote all these songs together. And it just kind of, when I was there, it was like, reminds me of my band. You know what I mean? It's like, there's a machine up there. They know what they're doing. They're laughing. They're just having a blast. They're not hired guns. They're literally there and just love it. It's like they're doing this because of the total passion. And you could see everybody in the room was just ecstatic.
And now, speaking of your own band, there is a clip that we have out there on our YouTube that's Johnless.
Yeah.
Which was a weird. It was weird for me where I've seen you enough times that like it felt weird.
Yeah.
Like it wasn't lined up properly. Like
yeah.
It looked weird to me.
Yeah, it's like, why you guys are like a triangle on there?
And we mentioned Travis was doing some like a little bit of solo thing with you there, like over a pandemic.
Yeah.
Like a little side project thing. So, and Mark, we've had on and mentioned before, like he does audio engineering and works down in Shoebox.
Yeah.
I'm curious with yourself where you do, and now I know your musical taste a little bit more too.
Yeah.
You definitely lean more towards the pop mainstream version of rock.
Yeah.
So where I know some of the people that you look up to out there in the industry too, it seems like you would lean a little bit towards some of that production work as well.
100%.
Work on your own albums. As much as Mark is known for doing that, you've got your fingers in there just as much, I would say. Like,
I do like a lot of the production for like Giants album stuff. Just for like, as it comes in at the end, it's like all the final, you know, like background stuff, adding in the harmonies. Every harmony on the album I did in my basement. I had Travis singing on a couple, and just like the kind of the stuff that fills out a track. Like honestly, working with Brian again on this album, he's one of the coolest people to work with, Brian Moncars. He's super easy. He's like, you guys have great songs. Let's just put that extra 10% into them. So with him, it's changing a beat a little bit or cutting out a part of a song that is like, it doesn't really need to be there. It's not doing anything. Or changing a little bit in the second verse to add a shaker in or add something else. So that little production part is so good to have a group that has all those production ears or can put the input in and nobody's like, oh, no, that's stupid. Everybody's kind of there to listen. And we do it all for the song. You know, it's like, what's going to make this song better? I'm not up there putting about 50 guitar tracks in because I want it to be a guitar song. It's like, does this enhance this part of the song? What will make this part stand out? What's going to excite? And that's the kind of elements I look at for production. It's like, how am I going to get that listener to engage a little bit more in this part? Or how's it going to stand out? And as an active listener myself, that's what I'm constantly listening for. I'm like, I need to be excited. I need to have something different. As much as I love pop music, it's like I need to have that little bit of fluctuation. That's why I'm into the power pop, like the electric version of a lot of it. It's like I like bands playing pop music because of the tones, because of, you know, the different snare hit in one of the verses, because of, I know, a little ringing on one of the toms. I don't like it to be so stagnant. I want to hear something different the next time I listen to it.
Now, Mark, as an example, I know when Wygo came on the scene, like he was right there.
Yeah.
And he got to work with them right away.
Yeah.
Do you have a similar itch now that you want to produce an up-and-coming band or some new people? Or, like...
Not fully. Like, I honestly, since I've started the open mic, I love going to that every week and hearing new performers. So, like, as I'm listening to people playing the original tracks, ideas are popping in my mind. So I'd like to hop on a track as like a guest producer for a song or two. And you know what? That'd be a super blast to do. But I'm not fully, I guess, engage in a whole project that isn't myself, just because I've got so much going on with my own music. But one-offs would be awesome. And I mean, if the right project came up, hell yeah.
And for those people that I've met at these open mics, Wednesday nights downstairs at the Pine.
Below Deck, 8 to 11.
There you go. But anyone that I've met there, I do follow you online afterwards, and I'm aware now that some of you were already aware of who I was at the point that you met me, because I've seen that you've been following my stuff all along. So thank you for that. And if you haven't, hit subscribe right now.
Right down there.
But in the new year, any of those people too, especially the ones that have already been following us, send me an email and we'll have you on one of these episodes. And I plan on tagging along for a couple more of these.
Hell yeah.
So I can bring some of the gear up to the city with me, especially with the temperatures we've been having.
Oh, it's wicked.
It's insane. I'm not very happy with the scientific reasons behind why it's supposedly happening, but to be able to go out in shorts and t-shirts.
Yeah, not bundled up. Like, for me, for going gig to gig, I'm happy right now that I'm not freezing.
Yeah.
Next month might be a different story, but...
Yeah, we'll see what January brings.
Yeah, 100%.
And so for the rest of this week, you do have the Boxing Day show.
Yep, Boxing Day. And then I've got open mic on the 27th. Then 29th, I'm at the Pint. Below Deck again, and then
is that as a solo?
That's a solo show, and then the 30th I've got a new venue I'm playing in Halifax. It's a matinee. 1 second, let me check the name.
Ooh, new venue.
A new venue. Station 6. So,
okay.
2 to 5 show. And then New Year's Eve. We took off this year. We played the last 8 years New Year's Eve. And the boys were like, let's just take it off. We had a busy year. Let's just enjoy campaign. Maybe we'll do a little review video. So check our socials. Might be something fun there to check out New Year's Eve.
That sounds pretty compelling.
Maybe a little.
I think you're almost guaranteed to see something now at this point. Even he may have just come up with it now, but
who knows?
You're going to see something now. And before I let you go, because I know you have a few things to do, and
I've got
a few things going on here too. So I'm wondering, you had a couple fundraising leading up to the holidays, but I believe there's intention on doing some more fundraising in the new year, so that Giantstock 2.000 is massive.
Yeah. So it's there's a lot of planning for fundraising, because the budget this year is going to be over double.
Yeah.
Bringing in a fun name and adding into the production.
But I really want to. So.
So yeah, like, we're gonna need all the funding we can get. We've got ideas for like flights, trips, going to those yurts, the beach getaways, stuff like that. And if anybody has ideas that they want to win, any contests, we were brainstorming idea of a date night with Dougie Snakes.
Oh, I buy tickets.
So anybody who's at Giantstock 1 knows Dougie Snakes was the host. And a little spoiler, he's coming back to host again.
Awesome.
We had to get him back. He did an amazing job last year. And
that's a testament to how well he did, because I know before the event happened, you were kind of brainstorming, like, well, next year we'll have to come up with this, and everything would have been new.
Right. And I'm like,
Which,
no, you know what?
But
the thing is, like, with this festival, it's like, if people are coming back, it means they were great.
Yeah.
They loved the vibe, and it's like, it's kind of like a reunion.
Yes.
I always want to think of it as a reunion. You have a busy summer. Let's just unwind Labor Day weekend and have fun. So if you have a little bit of a rerun, that's not a bad thing. It's like throwing an old tape in the VCR and watching one of your favorite shows again, you know?
And so Facebook and Instagram probably for updates on fundraising type events. And the most recent for you, I know that you've been putting a lot of effort into your TikTok.
Yeah. So the TikTok game will be up this year for sure.
Followers out there now, but I also know now that you've unlocked the ability to do live streams.
So maybe we'll go live on New Year's Eve for a minute.
There you go.
Maybe a contest.
A contest.
New Year's Eve.
TikTok on New Year's Eve.
There it is. Giantstock tickets giveaway.
Yeah.
You got to be the.
So put that in your calendar now.
I got to do the same.
Awesome. Well, I'm gonna let you go, but is there a song that you want to throw on the end of this? We tricked everybody into this being the 12th holiday episode. So I knew you didn't have a new holiday song.
No.
You did have a couple old ones out there on YouTube. If anybody wants to watch them, they can go look for them.
Yeah, I've got a cover of Your Mean One, Mr. Grinch.
Do you want to just end with that?
Why
for
not?
Today? See, Grinchy Boy wouldn't do a Christmas episode, so that's why I had to wait till Christmas Day, because it's really his Boxing Day show. So, see everyone tomorrow at the Boxing Day show.
Glasgow Square.
And everyone in Halifax, keep an eye out for those open mics. It's a great venue, and I've been to like 5 or 6 of them.
Yeah.
And every one of them has been a blast. So, see you all soon, and happy holidays.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are real. You're as cuddly as a cactus. You're as charming as an eel, Mr. Grinch. You're a bad banana with a greasy black peel. You're a monster, Mr. Grinch. Your heart's an empty hole. Your brain is full of spiders. You got garlic in your soul, Mr. Grinch. I wouldn't touch you with a 39.5-foot pole. You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. You have termites in your smile. You have all the tender sweetness of a seasick crocodile, Mr. Grinch. Given a choice between the two, I'd take the seasick crocodile. You're a rider, Mr. Grinch. You're the king of sinful sounds. Your heart's a dead tomato splotched with moldy purple spots, Mr. Grinch. You're a 3-decker sauerkraut and toadstool sandwich with arsenic sauce. Nauseate me, Mr. Grinch, with a nauseous soup mouse. You're a crooked dirty jockey and you drive a crooked house, Mr. Grinch. Your soul is an appalling dump heap, overflowing with the most disgraceful assortment of rubbish imaginable, mangled up in tangled up knots. You're a foul one, Mr. Grinch. You're a nasty, wasty skunk. Your heart is full of unwashed socks, but your soul is full of gunk, Mr. Grinch. The 3 words that best describe you are as follows, and I quote: stink, stank, stunk.